Original song by Rick Dale and Karen Allen. So please stand on up and join us on Fountain of Joy.
All rise.
I used to live in the future. I must run in the past with never a thought for the moment. Till I found the secret at last. Now I think of lifestyle and living by giving back to the one
Hello, 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 hello! Capistrano Valley! Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Healing in Capistrano Valley. My name is Reverend Art Patton. I'm a staff minister here. Woo! Yeah, do that again, will you? There we go! Yeah, baby! Wherever you have been on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. Whatever you did last week, you are still welcome here. Whatever you said last night, you're still welcome here. We're a spiritual community filled with love, connection, and if you got one of these little hearts, isn't this cool? Yes. This is really neat. All right, so we're going to start off our service. We're going to start off this clam bake with the flames of faith. What this does is it recognizes all religious beliefs. Like, we're not the only one. We're just the only one. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all people in all faiths, all sentient beings come from one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and the practices of all indigenous people, the way of primal spirituality. We light the candle for all forms of Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge and action and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by a sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of compliance with the will of God as the highest calling. We light the candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. Practitioner Patrick lights the last candle. Let it represent the path that brought you here this morning. If you would, please join me in a prayer, an affirmation, a centering way of just going within. And know with me right here and right now that there is only one. There's only one God. There's only one consciousness. There's only one love. And there is only one of you. Today, I say thank you, God. Thank you, God, for the opportunity to be who I am, to make a difference in the world through my words, through my deeds, through my actions. Today, we say thank you, God, where we say we trust in God, not the outcome. Through God, all things are possible. Through Spirit, all things are possible. Through my actions, all things are possible. And this world will be made better through my intentions. As I release this to the universe, I know it is done. It is so incomplete. Together with me, please say. And so it is. And Mr. Dave Practitioner Friedman is going to read something.
The sports. Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Looking good.
Let's read the Declaration of Principles together.
I believe in God, the one creative intelligence, operating through the universe and operating throughout my entire being, now and always. I believe this perfect spirit operates from the law of mind and creates my experience exactly according to my belief. I believe this perfect creative intelligence and I rejoice in it, and so it is.
And you guys are good. Now, read the affirmation with me, please.
I am guided and supported by divine love every day in every way. I trust and I live a fulfilled life from my heart. Joy is my norm. Good is my experience. All is well. Thank you, God, and so it is.
Thank you, Dave. Please welcome Gina Walker.
Yeah, she does.
Don't be trying to trick me.
Good morning.
Morning.
All right. It's getting a little funky today. Y'all ready?
Yes.
All right. As your day unfolds, challenge what the future holds. Try to keep your head up to the sky. Lovers, they may cause you tears. Go ahead and release your fears. Stand up and be counted. Don't be ashamed to cry. You gotta be bold. You gotta be blessed. You gotta be wise. You gotta be kind. You gotta be sweet. You gotta be stronger.
much fun. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm sitting there going, love doesn't save my rhythm any at all, but definitely saves the day. So isn't it great that the 15th of April, which is tax day, and Tony's birthday. But isn't it great that when it's on a Sunday, you get 2 more days to pay your taxes if you haven't paid them yet? So God is good. 24/7, 365. Okay. I love it. People are in sync, and I am in sync. This thing itself that is the presence of God does speak only through our hearts. And I've been watching a movie that we're going to show you. Reverend Patty and I planned to have movies this summer. So we have a movie scheduled for July. We have a movie scheduled for August. And we're going to do this one called The Power of the Heart in July. And The Power of the Heart was a movie that I saw at the film festival in Santa Barbara and bought there and have not yet shown it to you all, but it's coming, it's coming. It's a wonderful, wonderful movie about the necessity of listening to our heart, the necessity of telling the truth about how we're feeling. So, as you know, we didn't slip out of escrow. We came out of escrow because the buyers backed out. They couldn't get the financing, and I think it didn't appear to be as so good a deal as they thought it was. But what I know is that immediately happened, and I was called by someone who has a possible buyer. Grant and I met with him, and they're actually people that specialize in getting larger or smaller places for churches. Yeah, this is that. Yeah. So they're looking at it as the church, what it can do as a church, which, anyway, I was inspired by it. I was inspired by it. Nothing's happened so far, but at least it was like the universe is saying, do not be dismayed, do not be discouraged. There's always more good for you. And your particular good, the universe already knows what it is. So pay attention. Pay attention. There's a group called HeartMath, and they've studied the activities of the heart, and as far as the heart being a center of love. And that it actually feels like it's right here in the center of the body. And one of the things they did was they measured, they did an experiment. They measured, so they put diodes on the head, the heart, the body, and then the experiment was, they showed randomly, so the organizers didn't know what order they were going to come on. 30 different random pictures. Some of them were high-stress pictures, intended to evoke some kind of response. And the others were neutral. So those things would be like, and Judy, I couldn't find one of these, but a snake that's about to, a venomous snake that's about to strike, or a car crash. And then the neutral pictures were things like bunnies or, bunnies or puppies or, things that make our heart feel safe. We all love those young babies. And they found the most surprising thing. What they would do, they had the people stare at a blank screen for 20 seconds, press a button, and then that button would show one of these images for 3 seconds. And then it would be blank again for 20 seconds. Press a button. They'd be prompted to press a button. Another image for 3 seconds. And so on. So they knew exactly what time the picture was shown, what time, and what the measurements were. Without fail, every single person had a response to the pictures before they saw the picture. Do you understand? Before they saw the picture, they had no conscious awareness, they had no ability because they couldn't see it, and the researchers couldn't think that, it's going to be the snake one, because they didn't know, it was randomized. But without exception, their heart rate showed that when it was one of the sweet pictures, it was the rate measured that it stayed the same when it dropped when it was an extreme response. Wow, it's right. The heart has, and people say, oh, but I don't feel it in my heart. I feel it in my gut. How many of you say that? Yeah. And the researchers said this. Yes, you think you feel it in your gut because first of all, you feel it in your heart. The heart sends a message to the brain. And immediately the brain sends a message to the gut, fight or flight. So you do feel it here, but before you felt it there, you felt it here. And because they have this, and they have this research, and they've done this experiment all over the world. And in every culture, it's the same thing. It is not dependent on culture or anything else. It is verifiable how important our heart is. And I thought, oh, maybe I could do something fun with them this morning. And so I've got some pictures. But you already know, so I can't randomize them because I don't have that ability. So I know the order I put them in. But I'm going to stop talking, give you 20 seconds. I'm going to show one. I'm going to show up for 3 seconds. Then I'm going to stop talking, do another one, and just see. So take out something. I was going to have something for you to write on, but you only need the numbers 1 to 5. And you could do it on the back of your bulletin, or because you only need either P for positive or N for neutral, or yeah, you could put scary. As for scary. So up here in this corner, you have room. Or you have room by the children's benediction. The insert, on the insert, except we reuse those. So,
Raise your hand, please.
you could do it on the back of the insert. We'll just run some more off.
No, there's a blank page on this one.
Yeah, that's
There's a blank page on something?
Dedication.
Yeah, that's
Declaration of Principles that we use every Sunday. We recycle it. Anyway.
Yeah.
So they knew they were going to see some pictures, but they didn't. I think that's all they did. And because they didn't have to do anything, the machines were measuring their responsiveness. Okay. So the number is something 1 to 5. No, because there are 5 different pictures. And then beside number 1, ask yourself, is it going to be neutral, scary? Oh, those are fine, neutral or scary. It's going to be intense or neutral. And put something down. You could put P for positive. Well, you have time. You have 20 seconds.
So write down the
Write
first
it.
one now.
Right now. Mhm. No, before you see it. Before you see it. You're listening to yourself. Okay. I think that's been at least 20.
See, Joy.
3 seconds.
Okay. Now,
Okay, next one.
yeah. Now, right, 2. What's it going to be? Number 3. This was a wedding I did in Costa Rica. Those are my 2 nephews in Kingston Life.
Oh, that's kind of hard. I love animals.
Okay, and the last one. Okay, so, and thank you, Mary, you can turn that off. Oh,
Number 6.
there's 6.
Oh,
Okay,
there's 6?
not too scary to me. Okay, so that was a black widow spider. I'm telling you, looking at black widow spiders was so terrifying to me that I couldn't get the picture I wanted. There was one that I saw last night, and there was looked like a woman's hand, left hand, because there was a ring, and there were at least half a dozen spiders around and 4 or 5 on her hand. And that scared me. And I tried to find it when I was putting it together, and I couldn't find it. And I think because I didn't want to be that scared. So, but Kathy said something that was really important. It's going to be individual to you.
Yes.
Because not everyone has the same response. In fact, you might have had more response from the puppies because there was a greater connection.
Yeah.
You might have had a response of the spider because it was on a human hand and it didn't look like it was hurting anything. I mean, so it's not necessarily that it would be negative. But the point was that before they were shown, there was a knowingness. That something, either, oh, okay, this is going to be something, and you know that I wouldn't show you something you couldn't handle. Although that, the mushroom cloud was pretty significant. Okay, so you didn't get it?
I saw a clown face in the mushroom.
Oh, goody.
She made it good.
Well, I didn't choose it for the clown face. So, the whole point is that our heart is very wise. And if we learn to trust it and live from it, there are all sorts of blessings. My, Also in the same film, there's a story. They follow a couple in their 40s, maybe early 50s, and they're talking about their daughter who was killed in a car accident. And she was, they said her name was Christina, and all her life she was just a joyous individual, so full of life and so happy and so giving. And she was killed at 21 years old as she was on her bike. She was half a block from her apartment home. She was a college student, and her parents were devastated because their only child, and she had a lot of living still to do. And when they were going through her things, her mom found a makeup bag with no makeup in it. So, and during the course of the show, she tells us a little bit about this young woman and how she was as a child. And she said she loved to help people. In fact, she was studying to be a nurse. And she was the kind of person that always wanted to give blood as soon as it was time again to give blood. And because she was very tiny, she didn't weigh enough most of the time. But as soon as she weighed enough, she'd make her mother take her to give blood. And so she'd give blood and she'd faint. Every time she'd faint, and her parents would say, we're not going to let you do this anymore. And she said, I have to do it. It's who I am. I have to do this. She was a person that had a sense of what was right for her and of doing that no matter what. So her mother found this makeup bag with nothing in it but some slips of paper. And one of the slips of paper became evident it was a bucket list. The things that she wanted to do in her life, and none of them she had done yet because she was only 21. And the very top one is be in 4 places at once. And so they did go to 4 corners for her, and so that they were in 4 states at once. But they also donated many of her organs. Her pancreas, her liver to an 11-month-old baby and a 60-year-old man. Her many of her vital organs got donated, and so she was definitely in more than 4 places at once. But when it came to her giving her heart, they selected a 64-year-old nurse. And the nurse felt so much in alignment with this young woman that she decided to do every single thing on the bucket list that she could that hadn't been done yet. The things like jump out of an airplane, she couldn't do that because of having the heart transplant. The doctor said, no, but any of the things she could do, she did. And she owned pieces of land. And then she and the girl's parents went together. One of her things on the bucket list was to walk through a field of poppies. And so they have a picture of them doing that. And what a lovely, lovely gift this young woman left at a very young age. But her consciousness continued to bless so many people, including the woman who had her heart. And it showed the mom listening to her daughter's heart in this other woman's chest, and how grateful she was for that gift of being able to have her daughter with her in that way. So here's the thing we always know. We always know. Sometimes, and I love that we do a meditation and each of our ministers does it differently, but we always know when we take time to listen. And that's the whole point of meditation, to listen to that higher self. What is the instruction for me today? What is mine to do today? And then upon listening, to make choices from that place. And being willing to do the things that are most scary. In the movie also, the author of The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho, speaks several times. And he was a person that from a child, he wanted to be a writer. He wanted to be a writer, and his parents, he was born in Brazil, his parents said, no, 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 no. You cannot make any money as a writer. So he enrolled in university to please his parents. He enrolled in college, but it wasn't for him. And so he rebelled against his parents, quit, and started writing. And as you know, if you've read The Alchemist, it's his autobiography. He talks about how everything was always there when he needed it, that it always came to him, and yes, for many years there wasn't much money, and then he laughs. He said, but now there's way more, I'm making way more money than my parents would have ever thought of. Because, of course, this book has been translated into 7 different languages and is read all around the world. So his heart was telling him the truth. Be a writer. Be a writer. That's what is yours to do. And if it isn't yours to do, stop. Stop it. When Gino sings, we know that's hers to do. We can see it in her body, in her joy, and hear it in her beautiful voice. Some of you were concerned about my response to in my blog. So I just want to reiterate again. The whole point of my blog, the point was, it wasn't that not everyone will appreciate everything we do, because that's already a given. Not everyone will understand what we're doing. Not everyone will like what we're doing. Not everyone will hear spiritual principle in what we're doing. The point was, I called that comment forth by inviting my critics. I did it by reading Brené Brown and listening to Brené Brown, and she says you invite your critics to come forth so that they're there in the arena. So before on Saturday night, not last night, but a week ago, I called it forth. And then I was surprised there wasn't one negative comment that Sunday. But Monday, I read it. And it was like, oh, and I forgot. So I wrote in my blog, I was crushed, but I wasn't really crushed because I knew I'd called it forth. I planted the seed. So just because something is coming from our heart doesn't mean there won't be any sadness or suffering or struggle. In fact, so many writers say this very thing, that is what opens our hearts, are the brokenness. When our heart breaks, there's an expanded heart within us that is more available than ever before. And what this community is about supporting one another and being that open heart. And so maybe, when I had my experience of a broken heart last year, I said to people, there was a song I kept singing to myself, and it was, my heart isn't broken, it's just bent. Just bent. And speaking of songs, I ran across a rock and roll song, or maybe it's a country song, but I think it's rock and roll, by a group that calls themselves OAR, of a Revolution. It stands for OAR. And one of the songs, I really like this song, it's a song that says, the people in this person's life, his children, his former wife, etc., go round and round, over and under, he goes through. round and round over another he goes through. But then he says something, I thought, this is how we feel about God, the universe at times. We think we're given, we're crippled in some way, and we aren't able to do what we're supposed to do, and yet that very thing we've been given is what sets us free. So the words are, you break my legs and make me walk. You seal my lips and demand I talk. You blind my eyes and see if what you drew is good. You go round and round, over and under, I go through. So this is the time, this is the day for us to be direct, tell the truth, call in all of the support. So the biggest voices that we hear are the ones that are applauding, honking their support if they're geese, or quacking if they're ducks. I had a couple of ducks wind up on my front lawn this last week, and my neighbor tells me they're there quite often. It's a pair of mallards. I happen to know mallards because I'm from Saskatchewan, Canada. So, but it's the male and female, and the male is so beautiful and so lovely to look at, and the female is really dowdy. But I thought, you know, this is nature at her finest, because the female is going to be giving birth and is going to be protected by the plain coloring that she has, and the male will be able to support her by drawing attention away from her. It's such a wonderful life. Such a wonderful life. We're all here on purpose, and God is good. I brought with you a poem that I read before my sabbatical, and I can read it now in a way different way, so I'm going to. And then I'm going to close with that. This is called She Let Go. She let go. Without a thought or a word, she let go. She let go of the fear. She let go of the judgments. She let go of the confluence of opinions swarming around her head. She let go of the committee of indecision within her. She let go of all the right reasons. Wholly and completely, without hesitation or worry, she just let go. She didn't ask anyone for advice. She didn't read a book on how to let go. She didn't search the scriptures. She just let go. She let go of all the memories that held her back. She let go of all of the anxiety that kept her from moving forward. She let go of the planning and all of the calculations about how to do it just right. She didn't promise to let go. She didn't journal about it. She didn't write the projected date in her daytimer. She made no public announcement and put no ad in the paper. She didn't check the weather report or read her daily horoscope. She just let go. She didn't analyze whether she should let go. She didn't call her friends to discuss the matter. She didn't do a 5-step spiritual mind treatment. She didn't call the prayer line. She didn't utter one word. She just let go. No one was around when it happened. There was no applause or congratulations. No one thanked her or praised her. No one noticed a thing. Like a leaf falling from a tree, she just let go. There was no effort. There was no struggle. It wasn't good and it wasn't bad. It was what it was. And it is just that. In the space of letting go, she let it all be. A small smile came over her face. A light breeze blew through her. And the sun and the moon shone forevermore.
Who wrote that?
I don't. Sapphire Rose.
Oh.
Sapphire Rose wrote this. And it was given to us by Petra Weldes at our board retreat. It's a beautiful reminder. Everything we need, we already have. And it's being whispered to us all the time from this wonderful cave of our heart that knows who we are, what we love, and what we are to do here. And so it is. I'm going to pray. I'm going to pray quickly. This is what I know. I know that there's only one power, one presence, one life. And that this one is in each one of us. And I speak this word for each of us in the first person. I know that that indwelling presence comes to me in feelings, comes to me in those elevated thoughts that are in alignment with the truth of my being, that are true for God, that are true for perfect love, that are true for absolute life. And so today, I make a decision. I decide to let go and let God, to listen to the promptings of my highest self, to take time to listen to God's voice within, to be in tune with the infinite, to be filled with joy. I know that this is a day of greater creativity than ever before, of being willing to do things newly and do new things. It is a day of greater prosperity in all forms than ever before, and it is a day of greater love in all forms than ever before. I'm so grateful for knowing who I am, where I am, what I am. Grateful for the presence and power of the divine that always says, yes, my beloved. And so I simply place this word in the metaphysical, metaphorical hands of God. The mind of God has it. It's complete. And please help me anchor it by saying with me, and so it is. Now once more, the wonderful Gino Walker.
Beautiful service, beautiful. The heart, so powerful. Most of you will know this song, so please sing along. Oh,
Fantastic, Gina. The Spirit of God is upon us. It's time for us to share our gifts, our tithes, our offerings. So if the stewards would please come forward. Just take a moment. We're going to read our prosperity affirmation, and then we're going to take a moment in gratitude and silence, and then we're going to have a moment of silence and then sing I Am So Blessed. So please join me. My offering is my acceptance of God as the source of my supply and symbolizes my faith in the abundant flow of this supply. I'd like to acknowledge another spiritual practice, which is giving of your time and talent, and that is your volunteerism. So if that's you, if you would please stand so we can give you a whole bunch of love. Thank you for everything you do, who you are. And then if the practitioners would remain standing, because the practitioners are trained in the art and science of affirmative prayer, and will definitely transform your life if you make an appointment with one of these wonderful people. Make an appointment today to get a taste of what they're going to do. Stop by one of the prayer tables back here at the back or in the Tranquility Room. They are today Dave Friedman, Faith Mackey, Patrick Freeman, and Aidan Greeny. Let's acknowledge our professor. As you noticed, our ministers also stood, and most of our ministers, well, first of all, we're all ministers and practitioners first, but I want you to know that we're so blessed to have Reverend Carla here. She brings so much, and I'm so grateful that we're going on a spiritual journey together in October for 5 days. We're going to the roots of Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes' birthplace, Bethel, Maine, and then we're going to travel down to Massachusetts, to Boston, and to Emerson's home in Walden Pond, and it will be in the fall when we have this wonderful foliage. So stop by the table, let's speak to Reverend Carla, and let's acknowledge her and all of the ministers for everything they do. I'd also like to acknowledge those of you who are here for the very first time today. If that's you, and if you can be brave, we've got something for you. We've got some information for you, a little gift. And anybody here for the first time? Right here, welcome. So happy that you came today. Your gift is arriving here, and we're going to acknowledge you. We're going to affirm you. So if the congregation would repeat after me, welcome to our center.
Welcome to our center.
We're so grateful that you're here with us today.
We're so grateful that you're here with us today.
We know that you're a spiritual being.
We know that you're a spiritual being.
And what you're searching for
And what you're searching for
is searching for you.
is searching for you.
It is yours now.
It is yours now.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you. There's a welcome card in that green packet, and someone will direct you to the bookstore. Fill it out, and you receive another gift. It's a book. Do we have announcements?
We do.
From that delectable aroma, you probably already know that today is our Food, Friends, and Fellowship Potluck Sunday. So stay after the service and enjoy some delicious food made by all of you and connect with your spiritual family.
And at noon, you get a free dose of Teen Camp. And if you haven't received one of these beautiful necklaces from our teens, please get one from the back of the room. This is a gift from them to you. You get to experience what they experience at Teen Camp, which is really transformational in their lives. So stay and be loved by the teens. And Conscious Connection will resume next week.
On Tuesday nights from 6:30 to 9 p.m., Dr. Heather is teaching the two-part class series, The Spiritual Path and the Nature of Effective Prayer. The class is for everyone, from beginners to advanced students. A sign-up sheet is on the kiosk, and if you have any questions, please speak with Dr. Heather.
And this week at Wednesday's Wisdom, we have Anton Miserak and Laura Berryhill. Musicians, fabulous musicians from the Mount Shasta area, and so come, be inspired, 7 o'clock.
Our spiritual tour has been decided upon. Who wants to go to Maine and Massachusetts? From October 15th through 20th, join Dr. Heather and Reverend Carla to experience the roots of our teaching and sign up with Reverend Carla.
And guess what? Friendship circles are here. We've been waiting and waiting. So Reverend Carla is in the back room to answer any questions or to sign up. And what they are you can go to people's homes and you can have a small group discussion and really bond with people from our center, our spiritual community, in the comfort of a home. So if you have any questions, see Reverend Carla.
Pazipalooza is quickly approaching, and we are the center that gets to host it. On Friday evening, May 4th, enjoy Posse award-winning artists Freebo, Richard Medecki, and Harold Payne, along with our very own Rick Dale, who's opening the evening. Tickets are 20 clams. You can either purchase your tickets from Reverend Karen or online.
And if you don't know, our fabulous Gino has launched a YouTube channel. So please, this is a place where she is actually interviewing ordinary people like us and just sharing the love and the joy and the experiences of life. And so sign up for her YouTube channel. If you have any questions, see her in the back of the room.
Pass them.
Pass the mic. And just so you know, the Thank God I'm Crazy workshop has been postponed until May 27th. And now it's time for the kids.